Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the breakfast show. It's good to see you all again, and welcome for sharing this morning. And how is the market treating all of you after a long weekend that we have been doing our main course? That's right. And those of you who came last week, and you probably know that we've done a lot more, and the market looking very encouraging going forward. That's right. So those of you who have do share our video in here, and thank you for watching. And those of you who are first timer, do type in one there so I can sort of know where you're coming from. And right now we've got a few some new features which I'm going to share with you today on SmartRobie. That's right. So make sure you share this video in here. Now let's get on to our headlines. Headlines today, what we have for you, and definitely I just want to get on to some in here. All right. So let's see what we have for you in here today. And today we have that's right. Don't forget to be our top fans. That's right. We're still having our top fans giveaway that is from April to June. So remember to share, and comment on our SmartRobie and our Martin TF, and you will become big fans, and you will get additional points for that purpose. All right. Okay, great. So let's move on to what we have for you next. And also today is Wednesday. That's right. It's our intermediate level, and we'll be looking at trending stock chart setup and also news sentiment, and not forgetting also the hot sectors that we usually do. So that will be one of the highlight of the new feature that we have. And also don't forget, this morning in here, I just want to share with you, looking at the headlights, we have a new feature which is the most active that you can see on top of me here. That will be delay 15 minutes. So you can see right now Minda, you all know about Minda, right? Which is one of the most active, 288 million traded. So this is most active. And then we have the top gainer. We have Vitrox there from being number one. And we also have the most decliner, which is MPI, Hata, and also BET, which is down 11 cents in here. But Minda has attracted a lot of attention right now because of the Tan Sri, which we're going to get down to the story there. And right now the market still facing a resistance at 1559, and let's go on to the market this morning in here. All right. So this morning here, one of the headline news which actually I felt should be important and many of our participants should know of is this news here about the interest rate, which is the overnight interest rate, which is usually set up by Bank Negara, and we are looking to stay at 1.75. So 1.75 does mean that many of our people who have housing estate and people who do businesses will have a very reasonable credit. Now, a lot been said about early on the interest rate movement that we see in US, which continue to hit higher. So will that kind of interest rate will be sort of crossover to Malaysia, and higher interest rate usually will lead to higher inflation because they use it to tackle, and higher inflation rate is something that we do not want in the stock market in here. So right now the news that you see in here, which is from MBank analysts, saying that the economy is showing signs of recovery as we see the what we call the vaccine rollout coming to the phase 2, where the more senior people, and show those of you who are senior who is listening today, you already registered yourself. Am I sure, isn't it? So that will be the sort of news that which is continue to hawk a headline, the vaccination rollout in here. But I just want to make note of in here right now, you could see, let me switch to a wider chart here, and you can see on the left hand side of the screen here is the green pentagon. The KLSE continue to hold its base above the just short of the 1660. We have the recent turn up of the green pentagon in here, but right now the market seems to be facing a lot of resistance here. But hopefully with the holding of the interest rate movement, then we will see many of the banks stable. Now do take note, 30% of our KLCI, which you see on this side here, is reliant on the banking stock. So any cut of interest rate would mean this market will tumble down. So that is a relationship that some of you should know of, who's going to look at the market, how well we go. For this market to go higher, we definitely want interest rate to stay hold on at this level in here. Let's move on to our next story. Now, next story is on CPO prices. Right now, CPO is a bit firmer, and they are raising the CPO prices for 2021, which is this year. On top of that, the CPO or the plantation, palm oil plantation continue to face challenges. We all know that the weather, the workers, and the tariff which is being imposed by the European country, and also being an environmental damaging in there. And there was also talk about one of them having plantation to be uprooted. So Malaysia and Indonesia seems to be facing this. But if you look at all things being said, the TSS, let's look at some of the plantation stocks here that we have. Right, and let's look at the chart wise. It hasn't been really, been great mover. You can see in here, still holding up at 117 for THS. Let's look at another one, which is a big player, is for palm oil, maybe not FGV. Let's look at United Plantation, UTD. Okay, hit that one, and let's look at the chart wise. Where is the plantation stocks? And it's still hovering up. This one is slightly better than it. So it's sort of like range bounding, and because of the CPO prices which continue to hit higher and then it pull back due to the crude oil. So that's why you don't see a lot of the plantation stocks continue to move higher in here, right? Really doing a disfranchise to the plantation will continue to benefit from that one. So those of you who want me to look at some stocks, do pencil in there. I'll be happy to look at them in here too. And also there are some of you also already have some question ready for me too, so take note of that one. I'll be happy to look at those questions if you have, and also stop. So let's move on. The next story will be UWC. Now UWC, again, another record breaking new project in here, 5G tester job in here. So this Win will likely to test the 5G smart devices. A lot of this testing equipment, and Ytl listing prospect contributing 26%. So lots of good news in here. And let's look at UWC. All right. And let's look at that. Continue to win a lot. But UWC Great Tech has been hitting the headline with a lot of EV projects for the Great Tech. Right, and we did pick EV last week. So you can see today, this is a nice green pentagon. If you can notice on just on top of me there, that news seems to be piling up on what we have. And if you look at that, UWC, 2 pentagon fact. Number one on top, UWC is 10.7% from the green pentagon, which appeared on 26th of March, all right, about 2-3 weeks ago. And at the same time, the UWC SmartRobie win rate has about 77.8% win rate. So, and that is back tested about 9 trade. Isn't it smart? So you have a chance of winning when UWC always turn green pentagon in there, all right? And so this is what we're going to be looking at, all right? So interesting now. All right, let's move on to our next story. So our next story will be on Top Glove, what we talked about Minda earlier on, right? And Minda is buying into this education, maybe not related to Top Glove or rubber glove industry, but more to his personality that he brings into certain company if he purchase. And you could see, let's stick on to the chart wise, you can see Minda shoot straight up in here, and that's after a long period of accumulation in here. You should have benefited that, but nobody would know this kind of projects coming in here. It could be maybe for his long-term education. Maybe he got something that he learned from Elon Musk, who set up his own school for his employee. Maybe Mr. Tan Sri Lim Vichai here wanted to do something similar for the workers of Top Glove to build some sort of education for their own team. That would be definitely great in here. All right, let's go on to our next story. Next story will be on e-commerce for the REITs. Now this story actually talks about which I've been talking about. The only REITs I do think many of us should always look at is the constant of e-commerce warehousing. Avoid the shopping REITs. You can see shopping has been taking a lot of hit in here. So this is actually pointing to one. Exits REITs, okay, AXIT, and let's look at that one. There, another one. One of the members also told me, those of you who are here, you want to look at exit REITs in here. Okay, let's look at exit REITs. Okay, and go on to. All right, and you can see exit REIT actually came down from a nice base, has turned red pentagon, you can see up here moving sideways in here. So that one seems to be going to be benefiting from here. Let's look at this, whether this news this morning that it comes out gives a good move. No, not much of a change, still 0% in there. All right, okay. So that's something to be interesting of. All right, do take note and also check out our the top gainer, as I said before in here. There could be some stocks on the top gainer here that may indicate new what they call green pentagon when we move up to D next here. And this is Vitrox. It's only 4.7 volume. Genin Tech 24 cent. 480. Maybe you can check that one now. ATA INS. That seems to be moving up. And this is some of those of you who have time and you want to get more engaged with SmartRobie. Check out the gainer in here. And probably when we will do that during the stock review for some of our members here, and also some of you who are our top fans, and also our feedback from our Google Play Store. And kudos to those of you who have penciled in also on last weekend. We did our masterclass, and those of you who given feedback, we continue to improve ourselves to give you greater service and products ahead. All right, so let's move on to our next news that we have in here. Moving to the US market now, US market S&P 500 and also the NASDAQ hitting new high due to Tesla. That's right, Tesla anticipating earnings in the coming days, I think very, very soon. And also don't forget, Bitcoin hit 62,000. Those of you who came early on the value growth investing course with the Bitcoin, I did talk about those shares inside there. Maybe some of you who may have disregarded it here, but disregarded it at your own peril. Bitcoin, those of you who follow me earlier would have benefited a lot more in here. And also tonight for our masterclass member, do log in at 8 o'clock. We're going to be looking at the US market and be looking at Bitcoin shares. That's right. So we're going to be looking some of the great setup. A few of them are already started to move, and I'm going to show you how you can benefit from this Bitcoin 62,000. And I do believe it's going to hit a bit higher from here onwards. Bitcoin tonight, 8 p.m. So guys, make sure you lock it in there. All right, let's move on to our next topic in here, which is our leaderboard. That's right, our leaderboard, our past episode continued to do very, very well here. And you can see some of these has done pretty well, and we're pretty proud of it too, of some of the stocks that we came out. KGB continue, and revenue, yes, that's right, revenue has another jalan again. And we picked this up on 6th of January. Of course, recently, if you look at revenue, just turn back to here. There's also green pentagon, switching to a wider chart, and hit that one more time. Go to stock comment in here. All right, so you can see revenue was 14.4% since the last green pentagon, which is on 7th of April. So check it out in here. And guess what? Revenue has a win rate of 66% for every green pentagon that's coming out. So something good to know too. All right, so pay attention to that. So having said that, if you take from the base where we were on the left hand side here, you could see 6th of January when we talk about this stock, up to now it's 77%. And guess what? If you notice the ATR stop loss, that's the red line which is horizontal running, it did not touch any of those in there. And that's where those of you who want to run the profits. Again, this is something that we teach our beginner how to do this in our paid courses in here. Definitely something which is good for you to learn. But if not, take note, we have a SmartRobie workshop this Saturday. That's right, completely free. Do register, limited to 500 people on the earlier sign. You could do that one too. All right, let's move on to, and there are others that done pretty well in here, but let's move on to the lesson learned for the next one. Okay, so in the lesson learned, we have 3 stocks, Great Tech, YTL, and revenue. I'm going to show you with that one. So let's look at Great Tech, and I'm going to bring up the chart of the Great Tech, because last week that didn't. This is ATA INS, okay, which just now you saw the Great Active. Did I see this or not? Let me just show you here. Right, so you just need to scroll up, and was that ATA and INS? Yes, that's what you see. You see the top gainer there, item number 3. So every time when you see one of those inside there, check out the SmartRobie, okay, and hit 8171, 8176. You see on a green pentagon that started to move up, and that's good. And of course, those of you who have active chart like the one you see on this screen on the right hand side, that's going to really benefit you. So that's one of the things we highly recommend people to use the TradingView plugin. So every time when you see the ATA and INS in there, go over to the real time, you see better. If not, you can also look at the delay here, 8176, hit that one. All right, go to the chart. All right, you can see very similarly, and this one looks pretty good too. You can see that was the day before, and you get so that's how you want to spot those trade that is actively active, and definitely kudos to our development team to bring it up in here. I hope you like that. If you like that new feature, most active, most decliner, and most gainer, give me a thumbs up in here. We continue to improve our product so you can have it more on the real time. So let's look at the stock just now we were talking about. Definitely first one was Great Tech, which we picked on the 6th of, was it 6? 7. That's right, which we talked about on the 7th. So on the 7th, 6, 7 in here, we have this Great Tech falling on sort of news, but I think this one is still okay, and that's why it dropped 3% here. Let's take a look and zoom it in here and look at the volume. So volume still okay. You can see volume dips back down a bit here and holding up. So that looks okay. Of course, you have no demand. That's one of the more powerful SOS, but it doesn't hit the ATR stop loss, run with it. All right, that's why we have the stop loss. You don't want to react. I know sometimes we will look at K power also mislead in here. If sometimes the market drops, you tend to get a bit of GT. That's fine. You gotta allow the market to compensate. All right, let's look at the next one. Ytl Corporation here, and Ytl Corporation has been zigzag. You can see 3.9% on the 7 we pick here, down, up, down, and holding up. I do think this is again banking on the sign of recovery, and if all things being recovered, you will see this likely to move up, but not as well as some of those tech stocks. Then those of you who want a bit more active, go over to the KLCI. And how do you find that? Just go over to the main menu here, and the KLCI market, that's the one on sorry, this side on yeah, that's the one. All right, hit that one and you're able to pick it up much better. All right, so so the next one is revenue continue to make new high. I haven't found any news that actually drives this yet. You can see, do take note, anything that runs up this much, potential profit taking is here. This is how it was calculated from the 6th of January, somewhere around here. That's right, here, and then you pull it up to 77%. That's how we get the 77%. Right? If you have not gotten the plugin, you might want to consider it. And the pricing, you just go up to the main screen here. You can see just on top there we have 3 pricing there, plan, and pricing in there. So something you want to think about. Let's get back to the SmartRobie here. So we have the so let's look at this stock when you first pick up. So you can see in here, when the green pentagon turned and this market started to move up in here. But I just want to share with you the volume reading first, okay? Because this is the real volume. You can see this is the part where we saw this, what we call whole range of low volume accumulation. Remember, those of you who came over the weekend, we could not emphasize this more, what to look for. COC, cluster of closures, those are the things you want to pick up. And as soon as we have this pick up in the volume, the green panel come in, the one that will trigger and the market started to move on. Can this thing go higher? Right now, we have a slight pullback. You can see a step down volume in here. Definitely for the market to go up, we need to have step up volume to come in. So take note of that one. All right. So those are the 3 lessons learned that we did talk about. Let's move on to our next section in here. So our next section also very hot, which is our intermediate trade idea for the 14th of April, episode 57. That's right. So we have picked up Penta Master. So Penta Master, this thing has been, I mean, if you have followed the green pentagon, that would be nice. You know, you can bring it along here. That will already be roughly about 10% in the money. You know, if you could get in. If not, this is one of those trades we are doing. Next one is Scientex, which is very popular, and if you check out the fundamentals for Scientex, it is also, I believe Scientex are rated pretty high too. Let's check out Scientex, the fundamental in here, and let me see. All right. Okay, Scientex is rated 3 out of 8. Okay, 3 out of 8. It does pay a 5% dividend. So those of you who's yielding for dividend, all right, check this one out, because there are some of the masterclass members was asking about, you know, what are those giving good dividend you as part of what we teach in our masterclass, building that $1 million portfolio, right? That's right. So something we're going to talk about next Wednesday in here. All right, and you can see the top 3 shareholder just on top of me here. This one here is the basically Scientex is basically holding it, the leasing, the Infinity. So it's pretty much held internally as per last updated from the annual report 19 October 2020. All right, so let's see how far Scientex is going to, but definitely we have NS, couple of no NS that was in here. So this does look good, ladies and gentlemen, right? So we pick it up on today. Of course, if you have gone in during the NS, you would have gone in at the better price. I think that's the whole point, is can you get in better? That's part and parcel of what we call the trade setup that we have done. All right, so let's move on to what we have next, and which is the news. That's right. So if you look at news, probably we skip news. I want to show you something else. I want to show you the hot sector. But before that, let me just do an update for everybody. Now, over the weekend, we also updated how we managed to achieve the 106% over 35,000 ringgit a portfolio simulated for December 2020. And so far, the same strategy that we are doing. Now, those of you who want to know about this strategy, definitely this weekend, we're going to share with you this same strategy that we're able to clock 15.5% return. And this is using real money, okay? Based on a 31K portfolio, 31,000 in here, compare to the KLCI, which is still down -2%. So that's slightly better than performance in here, and we're very proud of it. We're going to share with you on this Saturday, that's right, for the SmartRobie workshop. All right, Trade Smarter with SmartRobie. Make sure you check out. It is completely free, that workshop in here, and I'm going to give you that QL later. Or you could see on the pinned comment on the right-hand side too. All right, pinned comment on the right-hand side, you're able to see that one. That should put you in a much better position. Am I right? Yes, that's okay. So let's go on to yes, that's the one I'm going to show you in here. All right. Now we're going to do next is to look at the hot sector. Okay, the hot sector in here, that's the one on this side, bottom right, hit hot sector here. So you can look at the hot sector. Basically, it just sort of sums up how it is. So technology is the best one. Property, construction. Let me show you construction. There's one I found out, which is third one. All right. Go to construction, hit construction here. All right, and you can see here, these are all the construction stock here. There was one VDAT, JAX, WCT, Gadang, Puncak, Sendai, Personality, RLC, Advanced Con. All right, so you can see Green Pentagon, Advanced. So what do you want to look for? You look for those Green Pentagon there, and which have so-called not too high rating, but 70 plus. Puncak, JAX is still bearish rating. VDAT, Gamuda. Let's look at Gamuda. The ratings. Okay, let's look at it. The reason why it hasn't turned Green Pentagon yet. That you see. So the rate. This one, it drops off. Okay, let's look for another one. And you can actually pick some of those relative stocks, looking at the one that has good setup. So this is like a list that you can do. Continue to look for those pay good dividend. And we got Sendai here. Let's look at Sendai 5205. All right. Oh, it looks like the my apps has some issues. This one. So we're just going to move on to our next part here. Okay. So let's move on to the next story that we have for you here is our strength and weaknesses. Okay, strength and weaknesses in here. You could see what we are looking for is this kind of setup like we have seen just now. Okay, let me just draw your attention here to this. You can see here, right? So as soon as we have, okay, let me just make it a bit smaller so you can see it. Right, as soon as we have this line change that you see here, all right, this line change, the market continued to move up nicely in here. 1, 2, 3, and that's what we look at. The whole point is on the left hand side here. Those are the low volume. Continue to see these time and time again. All right, let's move on to our next here. Is our QR code. Those of you who want to watch this video in here, definitely go ahead, and that's where we explain all our sign of weakness in here. And not forget, this is the QR code. Those of you who want to, we hope to see you this weekend, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'll be with you, and we'll be focusing a lot on SmartRobie and going through all that. All right, so make sure you are with me this weekend in here. All right, next we're gonna go on to becoming our top fans. Don't forget, right? And of course, now we're going to go on to our stock review. Those of you who would like to, and if you think we did a good job and wonderful job for you, don't forget to go over to Google Play or Apple Play Store and give us a review, because this review is important for us to stay in touch, in place for you, so we can able to give you a better service in here. All right, now we're going to start looking at those of you, you can take a look at the these two QR code and do scan them in if you can. Really appreciate we've done a good job. And now I'm going to be looking at your stock, those of you who have with me earlier on. And okay, we overload. First one we have seen, okay, Ted Sang Chun. Okay, we will look at those again, those of you who are our regular top fans and those of you who have reviewed and recently on our here. Feedback was happy. There's another one didn't updated was Simon Lambert and also Asti. Okay, so if you have done, I'm going to be reviewing that. Okay, K Power, this Miss Lee here. Let's look at K Power to this morning in here. So K Power, after hitting the 208, now this is usually what we call pullback. Remember, you study pullback, isn't it? Right? We have studied pullback every time when the line change. I talk about this over the weekend, Miss Lee. Not everything go up. What is the percentage of it going up? So that's one of the key things you need to know during very bullish market. Right now, market now is not really bullish. So you have this line going up. That's why you have this thing pullback. It's part and parcel of the pullback. That's why it's important what we call back test. See enough in here. All right. So that's my comment. Okay, let's look at the next one. Arif Helmi, Sun. Okay, and we got Werner Chin, one of our top sharer in here. So I'm going to pick those who are our top sharer. If not, continue to share and continue to give us a review on SmartRobie. We'll be happy. So Bitcoin, we'll talk about that tonight, Werner. All right, so let's look at Ytl. Okay, Ytl looks pretty good. You have a pullback in here. Nice one. No problem with that. The other one is SCIB. Okay, SCIB again follows Sarawak. A lot of constructions are pulling back right now. I think it's reacting to the news inside here, but it's pretty nice in here. It's not going to go straight up, pull back, but the volume coming down here is low. So very similar to the pattern that we see for K Power. All right. So I'm going to move on to next. Those people who want me to look at. We got Yuki looking at D next. All right, D next. Oh, I didn't see you on our masterclass, Yuki. Hope to see you next time. All right, let's see. Now, D-Next, this one's not going to go anywhere. It looks like it's going to move sideways. Just be careful of the ATR stop loss here. If this ATR broken up, it's time to go. All right, you may have bought it a bit heavy. So that's why I'm going back to the train trader and train investor, something that I continue to emphasize in our courses over the weekend, right? You got to have a plan. You got to know what to do. Hanging on this and not able to rotate out, all right, knowing it's going to cause a detrimental to your portfolio. Now, going back to looking at your portfolio over the last 3 months, did you perform 15%? Like what we did on the portfolio, you are showing that. If you are not, then sometimes you need to go over and review back to your portfolio, is that whether you seriously want to improve overall in your portfolio. Because when it comes to the year end, I'll be asking you too, how has you done over this one? So we are up 15%, and hopefully if we can do up to 50% by year end, that's something on real money, and we are showing you on daily basis how we bring that up. So we are in par with how we did in year 2020, the 106% in here for $35,000 portfolio for that one. All right. So let's go on to any more stock pick here that I can find. Okay, we got D next. Oh, you sold all, but you want to buy again. Why you want to buy D next? Must have a good reason. All right, going back to the train trader and train investor. If you want to buy it, you gotta have a valid reason. Okay, you want to buy something that no one is talking about. This one, let's check. You probably be a lot of people talking now. All right. Okay, let's go on to, let me see what else I have here. Okay, we got Ramesh in here, Ravin Ramesh. So I'll probably look one, okay, for MFLA. All right, Ravin, do go over to the SmartRobie if you think we did a good job and give us a review on our Google Play Store, all right? So I'll look at MFLA right now for you. Okay, MFLA seems to be okay. We have a pullback here, still green pentagon, having hit the ATR stop loss. So that seems to be very good. No problem with that one in here. All right. So I suppose let's move on to the closing of our workshop here. All right. So don't forget. All right. Don't forget to give us a help, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube not to miss out any of our talk. And also, don't forget, do join our Telegram. Those of you who are first time #1 here for our Telegram for the best information, absolutely free, so you can benefit in the SmartRobie. So I hope my half an hour that I did will find you in touch and updated on the market. And don't forget to check out the new features on SmartRobie. With that, bye-bye.